How's it going? Welcome back to the next episode of Geek Era Podcast. And as recently, we have our new co-host.
Hello, I'm What If Universe. Instead of suffering by watching awful anime, today we brought someone who was suffering to watch a good anime.
And our special guest, fellow AniTuber and podcaster.
Hi, I'm Squid. I'm here to talk about if this is an anime or not.
And yeah, so we have two topics. The first topic, we're going to be talking about what is actually the craziest and most toxic fandom. And secondly, we're going to be reviewing Castlevania seasons 1 and 2. So to start it off, what do you guys think is actually the most toxic of fandoms?
Probably, if we're talking overall, probably like Taylor Swift fans because they're insane.
You know what? That's actually a good one, because I didn't think about that till now.
The thing is, if you look, I don't know if you guys follow any music stuff on Twitter, but if the Billboard account tweets something out, they'll just respond with a wave of comments saying Taylor could have done it better. Taylor would have broken this record. She would have made better music, even if she's not even in it. They're just out of nowhere.
True. But, all right, compare Taylor Swift to K-pop stans.
No, true. I disagree.
K-pop stans are
because the thing with K-pop stans, you can at least organize them to do something for good. I know a while back on Twitter, they were trying to... There was this racist hashtag that was going, and K-pop stans just took over it and just put their own thing, so it just didn't exist.
Yeah, they do that a lot, where they'll just take over a hashtag and flood it with selfies and pictures of their favorite bands and groups.
True. They are very quick to try to cancel fictional creatures. I never understood it. About a month and a half ago, they tried to cancel Master Roshi from Dragon Ball because he was a pervert.
Yeah, they're pretty the thing is, they're pretty quick on the draw. They sort of just, I think, decide something and they go for it. They don't really think about it.
So it's it's a fictional character that's been around since the 80s.
Oh, it's no use trying to reason with them.
Two, I think Akira Toriyama, I don't think he's on Twitter. I think he's just sort of in his room, cut off from a lot of technology.
On his deathbed.
True. There's also there could be also the point where it's do we even know he's still alive?
Exactly. He's so old. He's gonna care what some K-pop stan says about him.
Yeah, it's kind of true. It's the creator of Studio Ghibli, Miyazaki. He's so cranky and conservative, he doesn't care.
It's the perk of being old is that you just don't have to care about anything anymore.
And trust me, Miyazaki, they thought he was, the next, Walt Disney. Is Walt Disney turned out to be an absolute prick. Which is kind of the same with Miyazaki.
Yeah, it's always weird when you discover that someone responsible for so much childhood joy and magic is a villain.
Oh yeah,
I have personal experience with someone, but I'm not bringing it up on this podcast.
You met Walt Disney?
No, not that, but...
You had sexual relations with John Kay.
You know what, I'm just gonna leave for a second.
He didn't say no.
That was just a shot in the dark because Ren and Stimpy's coming back.
I don't think I've ever seen Ren and Stimpy.
That's how old I am. I remember when Ren and Stimpy was on TV.
I didn't really watch cartoons when I was a kid because I was lame.
But yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. Like there's always some stupid stuff going around, especially on anime fandoms. Like, but I think some of that is actually spiraled by like bots. Like the whole canceling the creator of My Hero Academia. I'm pretty sure that was just spiraled by like the Chinese government because the amount of manga that was actually burned, it was just ridiculously over the top. And the fandom is still strong.
Yeah, it seemed the weird thing about like when someone get canceled is it always seems like it's such a minority actually doing it. Which lends like credence to the fact that it could be artificially created.
Yeah, like to be honest, like I know the next one I put on the list would probably be Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball deserves to be canceled, though. Let's be honest.
I don't think What If would be very highly on that one.
I actually was like rewatching all of Dragon Ball with a friend. Well, it's like we set out to rewatch everything Dragon Ball together. It truly is wild how far we've come with Dragon Ball.
Yeah, like even though like the show has been hiatus for over like I'll be one of the fans of like I enjoyed the ocean dub and the cheesiness of it. Like
yeah, I agree. Like Blue War, the sister studio.
Yeah,
I think their GT dub was better in Funimation than Script.
Oh yeah, definitely. Actually, I never got the Funimation dub. I still haven't seen it. Seen the opening with Vic Mignogna singing. That's pretty much all I heard of the dub.
No, that's not the real dub. You haven't heard the rap. That is a disaster.
Oh no, I heard the rap. I heard the rap.
That was what we got in America. We did not get.
Dude, you didn't like the rap?
Singing. Okay, I like the music. I just think the delivery could have been better. That's just me.
Oh yeah, well GT, it's a diamond in the rough. But like for diehard Dragon Ball fans, like they spit on it, and it's just like, hold on, like I know like nowadays people can kind of consider like it was even brought up on Trash Taste podcast, just like there's Dragon Ball fandom, and then there's everyone else. Everyone kind of sticks to their own lane. But that wasn't the case for like when I started getting into Dragon Ball because of the Konami block. It was like Tenchi Muyo and Big O and Gundam Wing. All those shows are on. So like that was my taste of anime at the time. But now try to tell a Dragon Ball YouTuber to do a different anime when Dragon Ball isn't around. No, they flip out. What do you guys think?
I don't know. Dragon Ball is one of those things where I've always felt just like an outsider looking in. Even though I'm a fan of the show, I see other people talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not like a.
Yeah, like they're the most nitpicky. Like they'll complain about like, oh, the voice track was slightly wrong in this episode. Yet they'll watch Dragon Ball Heroes, which is literally just a show that just is a giant fan fiction.
Yeah,
that makes no bit of sense.
I feel like that's something I would write, basically.
I mean, that's kind of what GT was, right? It wasn't a fan fiction, but it was.
I think
not Toriyama.
Yeah, it's the studio's own production.
It was Toei.
GT,
they like wrote
opinion,
their own.
It's an alternate universe that extends off of Wrath of the Dragon, because that's when the Dragon Fist was introduced. That's how I view it. It's just a continuation from that universe.
People always just like GT because Super Saiyan 4 is in it. Like, even if you don't like GT, you like Super Saiyan 4.
See, I liked GT, but like in retrospect, it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's kind of a show about accepting your own kind of fuck ups from your past. You know,
yeah, it's
and
a
that
big
one, it's the
departure
overuse
from...
of Dragon Balls.
I think it's my friend Jake that I was watching Dragon Ball with, and one thing he commented on was that GT was such a big departure from like what Dragon Ball had been previously that he was like had whiplash. He was very confused.
True, but there was like a good number of years between the thing. Like even now,
Well, yeah,
it's
he
been like
watched
what,
them.
2 years? It's
we
like
watched them like back to back to back. You know, we watched them like all in one sitting.
But I kind of wonder what the reason why Dragon Ball fans really don't get into other anime. It's like a diehard, like nowadays.
I think
Dragon
it's
Ball
because
fans.
Dragon Ball doesn't have a genre. Dragon Ball is the Dragon Ball genre. Like it is just its own thing. There's no substitute for Dragon Ball.
I don't know. I think Baki the Grappler is a pretty good indication.
Well, first of all, Baki the Grappler is super fan right here for the record. But there's no Super Saiyan in Baki the Grappler. There's no Goku screaming for 20 minutes and like turning silver.
I don't know, but we have a over-determined Baki trying to get laid.
That is true. Baki getting laid for the first time was literally him going.
You'll
Super
never
Saiyan.
be as determined as Baki trying to get laid.
I mean, dude, Baki, some guy, Muhammad Ali's son was hitting on Baki's girl, and Baki literally tried to kill him because he was so mad.
Yeah, was it like 3 punches?
Yeah, he like knocked him out and then just choked him to death. But Baki sucks. As a super fan, I will say Baki is terrible.
I think how the dub in particular was brought to the West changed the perspective of what Dragon Ball is, unless you watch the sub. I think that's the big thing a lot of people don't consider.
The voice actors for the Dragon Ball dubs always go super.
Is what I'm referring to, not the actual voice acting.
That too. Well, they actually, it seems like, and this is just me speculating because I'm not an expert, but it seems like they actually changed the script and like try and make it work more for English than a lot of other anime do.
Yeah, they made Goku more of like a superhero character with the Funimation-ish dub. Same thing with Ocean. But when you get to GT, that's where it gets a little different because GT, Funimation kept the superhero-ish vibe, but Blue War was like its own thing. Like it was like a weird mesh between the original and like their own dub script. It's very weird, but I highly recommend people watching it because I think it's honestly, I think script-wise, it was better than Funimation's.
Oh yeah, but yeah. So Dragon Ball, I think Slam Dunk, and Haruhi Suzumiya, and AKB48, like all those idol groups, they have some really crazy stories. But not so much on the international basis. Like the ones in Japan, all right, someone broke into the school that the school in Haruhi it was kind of set in, and they robbed a bunch of stuff to like sell on eBay.
They robbed the school?
Yeah. So they found the school that was like the model basis for Haruhi the school that's set in.
My question is, who would buy the things they stole from the school? Because surely the things they stole from the school weren't any like different than a normal school.
Oh, this is crazy
stole, like,
fandom.
The building itself.
There's people online like buying, hair clippings of celebrities.
True. I mean, that I can understand because like then you could make a clone and then like
yeah, there's value to that if you get done the right way.
That's something that's just only going to go up in value.
But yeah, and then Slam Dunk had a case a few years ago where because shipping didn't go the way that someone wanted, they planted anthrax that was supposed to be sent to the publisher.
That's like that's not even a funny prank. That's just mean.
Oh no, then, well, that would be on the top for like toxic fandoms.
True. I mean, like literally.
That's like that is legitimately like a terrorist attack.
That sounds scary.
Like I mean, like there's always stories with the pop idols with people breaking into apartments and sending death threats if someone ends up with a boyfriend. K-pop fans, like the ones from Korea, they will beat up Western K-pop fans because it's like a territory thing.
Basically, people are just insane.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, it's best to just distance yourself from them.
But, yeah, so that brings us to the second part of the podcast, Castlevania, Season 1.
Very good show.
Drew, you want to start off with the story?
Oh, geez. Okay. Yeah. So we're in... Okay. Jesus, I'm going to do bad at this. So we're in Wallachia, right? In, I believe, the 1400s. We meet Dracula, Vlad Dracula Tepesh. He falls in love. Tragedy befalls his wife. He gets very angry. He decides he wants to kill all humans as revenge. And then we follow his wacky and zany adventures on his quest to end humanity. Actually, that's not true. We follow the wacky and zany adventures of 3 other people trying to stop him.
Yeah, well, realistically, it's only the 2 characters.
Wait, which character are you saying is useless?
No, well, the 3rd one is only introduced until the final episode of the 1st season.
True, which and he's kind of a lame-o.
It was like, you spent a year asleep. So, the 3rd one is introduced in the final episode of the 1st season, where it's Dracula's son.
Yeah,
Alucard.
Adrian, aka Alucard.
Not to be mistaken for Alucard from...
I think Alucard is a very funny character, personally. Because he's like... How old is he? He's like, what, 25 years old? He's like very young.
Supposedly, yeah.
I mean, he had to be because he was born of Dracula and his wife, so he can only be like max 30 years old. If that.
Yeah, so kind of a new vampire, really.
Yeah, my favorite thing is, because I recently rewatched the show, and like, they don't make it super clear, at least I didn't notice it when I rewatched the first episodes, or the first season a couple times. They didn't make it super clear how much time had passed, like, from Dracula meeting his wife to when she had her incident. And so it literally made it seem kind of like Alucard was like 4 years old, like just a child. Yeah. But I think he's like 20-something. I think he's in like his mid to late 20s.
Well, I think what's interesting is that they could explain this with flashbacks or make an own season dedicated to this, which is what I'm hoping they do.
Yeah, it showed a little. I mean, they basically just said that Alucard ages like very quickly. So when he was like 2 years old, he was already 50 years old.
Yeah, like I know this is supposed to be based off of the video game, but they kind of just make up their own lore.
Yeah, I think it is and it isn't, because I think they take heavy inspiration. You know, like they have like the Morningstar Whip and villains and characters from the show, but I think it's a more original story. Like, I'm not that the video game is original, but they really didn't like want to do a 100% accurate adaptation.
Yeah, where's my ham in the wall? Where's that in the show? It's not canon. Damn it.
It should be. I don't know. I think the first season It's way shorter than I remembered. It's so short.
Yeah, I literally watched it all at once when it came out. It was pretty insane.
I did not remember it being only like it's what 5 episodes?
5 episodes in the first season, yeah.
And they're like anime length, so it's like barely an hour of content.
No, I think the episodes are a little bit longer.
I thought the episodes were 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's what it yeah.
Are you guys Netflix? So Netflix was showing me like half episodes. It said all of them were 23 minutes for me, but maybe it's wrong.
It probably is.
Because I wasn't like time. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I was playing Minecraft while I was watching Castlevania, so I wasn't keeping very accurate count of the time. But like when I went and looked on Netflix, it said it was all 23 minutes.
It's 25 minutes.
Which, like, if you include outros and intros and whatnot, that's probably like 22 minutes.
True. It's still
so
3 minutes more than most anime.
So it's a little over an hour.
Yeah, it said 23 to 31 minutes according to Google. That can't be right, though.
I have no idea. But the point is, it's very short.
Yeah, like I know it's kind of inspired by. I know you guys are a bit too old for this. It's even a little bit too old for me. There was a movie called Heavy Metal. It's that kind of very gory artwork. And even the animation style is very similar to Heavy Metal.
Are you talking about the hit movie Heavy Metal 2000?
No, the original Heavy Metal.
What, do you think I was born in the 80s?
No, I'm saying you're a bit too young for it.
Yeah, Also, I don't usually ever watch like animated movies just on principle.
Yeah, from what I'm checking, like back in 2007, Fred Rare acquired the rights to the film adaptation, which was supposed to be a direct-to-video, so that could make sense. They used the original script and just dragged it as much as they could.
Yeah.
I just like, because Castlevania, it just, each season gets longer, which is like not too typical that each season gets like much longer than the previous one.
But who is everyone's favorite character actually in it? Because realistically, there's not much of a story. Like the first season details him meeting the main sort of antagonist, trying to find everyone else to go against Dracula. Basically, say Dracula is going to kill everyone in the world within a year.
The first season, it honestly, like, basically is just like a prologue. Really, I mean, it's so short, and its job is literally just to set up the conflict and characters.
Yeah.
I think Dracula is probably the best character in season 1 because it's focused enough around him more compared to the other characters, apparently, from what I remember from watching it.
Yeah, I mean, in season 1, it's kind of hard not to have, like, for characters in season 1, if your Dracula's not your favorite, what are you doing?
So on goes to season 2, which is the initial confrontation. What do you guys think? So they're after meeting up with the 3 people: Alucard, the son of Dracula, one of the speakers, and then I can't remember the name of the character. It's been a while since I've played the Helsing games, and yeah, Trevor
Belmont. Season 2 is a wild ride. I think season 2 really made a lot of people like very angry.
True, which would consider like it's an art piece in that way, because it's art is supposed to evict emotion, which is one of the reasons why I enjoy really good shows and really bad shows in particular, because the worst thing an anime can do is something boring, which is the reason why I want to get Drew, since he's hit 700 followers, he's going to watch Mad Bull 34.
He's gonna watch
I do not agree to that.
Mad Bull 34?
Yeah, I did not agree to that. I don't know what you're talking about, Geek here.
Oh, this is old. I don't like this.
Well, the other one you didn't want to watch, My Sister is Unusual, because of the dub and sub issue.
Oh yeah, that is true. So that's why. That makes sense.
That could be worse. There's like an anti-socialist anime called Angel Cop, and it almost had the record. It got bet out by Black Lagoon for the most amount of curse words used in anime.
I think with season 2 of the show, I think there's a lot of payoff from season 1 if you watched it like immediately right after. Like if you're watching it when it was coming out, I think you would have felt a little worse because of the wait, you know?
I think a lot of people too, or at least some people, I'm sure, because I went into this thinking this was like Hellsing Ultimate Dracula or like Dracula Untold Dracula, where we were about to see like God Dracula just go berserk, which obviously is not what happened. And so I think a lot of people were turned off initially by that, especially if you had to wait for season 2 to come out and you were excited to see Dracula just absolutely annihilate everyone. And then this is what you got. You'd probably be sad.
True. Like if you ever played any of the games for Castlevania, like they do put a lot of lore where there was no lore really before. Like as a video game adaptation, I think it's very good.
Yeah, as someone who isn't overly familiar with the games, just I have like a vague memory of them. It's pretty cool.
What do you think, Drew?
I think my thing is like people think like, oh, he was just defeated too quickly. Well, obviously we're not talking about season 3 for this episode, but there is a concept I think that like he's gonna come back somehow. I think.
Yeah, he tried. He almost got out.
But I'm saying that was the concept, like in that. Well, I'm trying not to spoil it, obviously, but that's what was there, and I think it was interesting.
So the first question is, do you consider this anime?
According to Netflix, yes, because that's what Netflix says.
I would call this like a Western animation that's just heavily inspired by, because I mean the art design is clearly inspired by anime, but it's not anime.
I mean, I guess I would just call it like another Avatar, kind of. The Avatar Last Airbender.
I mean, it's described as an adult animated web television series.
Which that's a very weird way to describe something.
Yeah, it sounds suspicious when you say it like that. I don't know. I don't think it's anime, even though I'm pretty sure one of the things that it was heavily influenced by was like a Japanese concept art or multiple pieces of it for the games. It's just too different from anime for me to call it anime.
Yeah, like even the animation itself, like I know they probably put in more cells, but it felt very much more so like a Western animation than an anime.
Yeah, I agree. One of the first things my friend commented on when I forced him to watch the first season was how good the art and like the visuals of the show was.
I think what's interesting to think about is when the inverse happens, because I think Pop Team Epic or something like Panty and Stockings are two good ones I always bring up.
True.
The inverse happens because people are like, Well, it is an anime, even though it looks more like traditional, like cartoon stuff we do over in the West.
But like those other two are actually aimed very towards like a Japanese audience. Castlevania feels like it's specifically made for Netflix.
Well, because Netflix made it, like you can't hurt the studio because Netflix was the one who commissioned it.
True.
I mean, it seems like the show was written and the characters are created with a more Western audience in mind.
But you could also take that to account to like who's working on the show, you know?
Yeah, because
the writers are different.
Yeah, and the director himself, like he was involved in a lot of the DC small side projects. So like he was involved with Punisher, Laundry Day, and a bunch of other stuff.
I mean, if this is a Japanese anime, Dracula's backstory would be much more tragic, much more like violent and gross. His wife wouldn't have just been burned. There would have been horrible things going on.
I think his backstory is tragic enough.
Yeah, but it's tragic in a more like Western romantic way than it is in like a guts watching.
Well, you have to think about Dracula was westernized a lot. So, of course, that's kind of like where to go.
Well, I mean, Dracula came from the West.
It came from Ireland.
Yeah, you know what's wild is that the Japanese company Nintendo predates Dracula.
That is... Well, which Dracula, though?
Like the concept of Bram Stoker's original Dracula.
That's surprising.
And also, what else does it predate? Sherlock Holmes.
It brings us on to question number 2. Would you recommend the show to people?
Yeah. I think this could be a great show for people because while I don't think it's anime, I think this could definitely get people moving in the direction of anime if they were a little bit hesitant and you didn't want to send them off the deep end with Hellsing Ultimate.
And with the wonders of Netflix, like you'd be watching not Demon Slayer, but you'd be watching Castlevania, and the next prediction will be like Lupin the Third.
Yeah, I think this show is a great, like, if you have a friend or a family member or someone who is kind of interested in anime, but you want to give them something light to, test the waters with, give them Castlevania.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I would agree with that. The only thing that would change is like season 3 goes a bit further with certain concepts, so maybe like this is like a good gateway, similar to like Avatar, because I usually recommended Avatar for people who don't like anime just to watch that first as a gateway. But I think this would be a more current one that I would use as an example.
Yeah, the thing is, unlike Avatar, this has like, we're seeing like entrails wrapped around spikes and stuff. Like this will do a better job of preparing you of like what anime could be and what it might show you.
Yeah, the only thing
like Avatar's not missing is the corpses.
Yeah, the only thing that's missing is tentacles.
Yeah, there's no rape in the show.
The difference between Avatar and this is obviously the demographic it's targeting.
Avatar, I think, had the disadvantage of like coming out before the whole normalization of anime movement type of thing.
Yeah, because I think this kind of helped it, in my opinion, because you could show it to almost anybody and it wouldn't really offend anybody.
I guarantee you there's
would offend people depending on the right people you pick.
The problem is like Castlevania, I feel like you could watch something like I don't know, I'll be honest, I don't know like the animation library of Netflix very well, but like you could watch something like Toradora and I feel like Netflix being stupid would be like, oh, maybe you'll like Castlevania because it's also animated, and you could just see that like, oh my god.
Yeah, that sounds like something that you would, say to your co-host, one of your friends, Tyler.
One of my friends?
Yep.
I've never met Tyler. In fact, I'm pretty sure Tyler hates me, actually.
Yeah, Geeker, I can't make assumptions about people.
I'm pretty sure I watched a video where Tyler said that he hated me.
Well, that's probably the reason why, because you told him after Toradora to watch Castlevania.
Hey, man, he's got to grow up sometime. He's got to learn how it works. I was very shocked because, like I said earlier, I consider season 1 to be like the prelude of the show, like the sample. And so I consider season 2 to be like the first real season of the show. And like our boy dies. Like he gets owned.
Yeah, like for anyone who roots for Dracula, it's like, well, that's where the show goes. But
it has one of my favorite tropes. Like, have you guys seen John Wick?
Yes.
I love movies and stories that make us root for a villain. Like in John Wick's case, like his dog died, so it's like, all right, he's allowed to kill all these unrelated people who didn't do anything. And that to me is like Dracula. It's like, okay, Dracula, like his cute wife died, so we'll allow him to like just murder these innocent children and families. And then so they make you root for Dracula, like you sympathize with him, and then immediately they're like, no, he loses.
Well, I think it's interesting because unlike Death Note, where I could see Light's moral flaw issue, with Dracula, I could see it's like he has a reason why he wants to change things. Because there's still vampires that exist. Like they could still take over the earth, and still be something.
Well, we still haven't done with 2020 at this point.
I just wish we'd gotten to see Dracula at full power, like just a little bit.
I feel like that's coming.
Yeah.
From what I've heard from season 4, like I'm not saying too much. Obviously, spoiler.
Well, I mean, what we saw in season 3 is like, I just hope, and this isn't spoilers. This is just if he comes back.
Do you remember that one dude in season 3 who was able to like control a ton of people? Like that was insane scaling for like a human that we see.
Oh yeah, Isaac
like,
is.
We're scaling up now.
Isaac is literally like what he went from being just a human under Dracula to now in the series is like one of the big boys. Like he is one of the major 4 factions. Well, I guess I don't know. I don't really count.
Like he's his own faction. He's his own man. Like he actually.
Yeah, he literally has like a massive army that he is planning to unleash hell with.
Like, I feel like he's gonna be a key factor, like in all the next season. Because from what we've seen of him, like, despite, like, I have more issues with him compared to Dracula, in my opinion. Like, while I understand his backstory, I kind of think Dracula's motivation is slightly better for some reason.
I hope that if Dracula, because we're basically about to see a big like
it's gonna be a huge fight. For
4-pronged battle. And I hope that if Dracula comes back, he's just like, I'm sick of all of this. Like, you're all ridiculous. Enough.
That's what I think is going to happen. I feel like one of these 4 factions, most likely that one dude's going to be like, I should try bring Dracula back. That's what's going to happen somehow, I bet.
Yeah, I wonder, because we know, I mean, this is
he
spoiler.
Can make night creatures. That means he could probably make that same one somehow.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, we know, like, it's just a matter of if he gains that knowledge. And then it's like, what Dracula comes back? Is it like weak, timid Dracula? Or is it like alpha male at his peak, ready to go Dracula?
And we also have to remember the fact that it's awareness if they know. Because we don't know which one of the Forge Masters made that creature, which is more interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if honestly, I just want Hector and Isaac to make up. That's really all I want.
Because if it's Hector who made it, or if it was both of them, then that could be a key point why Isaac's trying to go back for him.
Well, at this point, I think Isaac is just pissed at Hector for betraying Dracula. I mean, he is not happy.
That is true, but if he's aware that Hector did this, it gives motivation why he would potentially want to keep him alive. Because Hector seems like he somehow survives these things. And
Hector made me so sad. Hector is just like the saddest character now. I don't know. I just like
funny. He just became a simp, I think.
Yeah, he literally just became like a mega cuck simp, Stockholm syndrome weird guy. And then Isaac's over here like conquering the world by himself.
Yeah, it makes me feel bad for him. This is what his character devolves to later on. But
I feel like Isaac's gonna show up and be like, dude, I gotta just like mercy kill you at this point. You're just too pathetic.
Maybe Hector would ask for that, considering what happened to him. He might want that.
I mean, this is like back to season 2 stuff, but can we just appreciate that Isaac, who is my favorite character in the whole show, Godbrand, one of the vampire lords, like dissed Dracula once, and Isaac immediately whooped his ass and killed him as a human.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that scene.
I didn't even dislike Godbrand. Weirdly enough, Godbrand's voice actor was also in John Wick. Now that I think about it.
So, what's the final verdict, guys? Is it keep and watch now, or burn it and piss on the ashes?
I think me and Squid will probably talk about season 3 in a different episode. But for season 1 through 2, go for it. It's great. I like it.
Yeah, I mean it's like literally just 2.5 hours total, anyways. So why not? You got nothing to lose. If nothing else, it'll distract you for 2.5 hours from this hell of an earth.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, I definitely recommend the first 2 seasons anyway. I haven't seen the 3rd season. I'll probably watch it sometime this week since my holidays have been cut. So, until then, guys, this is Sean Alpha, and this is the final episode. If Squid, you want to give a shout out to your channel?
No, don't watch it. Go subscribe to everyone but me, please.
Subscribe to Kickback Anime Podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't have any affiliation with them anymore, so I can't say that.
Darn it. I want to say that anyways. You know what? I'm going to probably start a podcast, Squid. I feel bad that you're kicked out.
I didn't get kicked out. Why do you assume I got kicked out?
It's because your terrible taste of waifus and you consider the manhwa the best anime ever.
True. I was bullied out by the stockholders.
That makes sense.
By the stockholders.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, sure. Go subscribe to Kickback.
Why not? We'll promote them. Okay. I was going to put an episode there later.
This is your time to advertise an episode? Or your channel?
I have not too much I want to advertise. I recommend watching the What If I Was in My Hero Academia series. Needs More Love, and that's the video series I'll just advertise for this episode, so why not? It's on YouTube at What If Universe.
That sounds good. And this is Sean Alpha. We're signing off.